driveway life.
What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. So if you've been watching the series, you know where we're at so far. We've got the wheels, the calipers, the car's looking decent. It failed the MOT in the last video, which we're still waiting on parts, but whilst we're waiting, I thought we're gonna sort out the paintwork. So there's a lot of swirls, there's a lot of scratches. This paint could just be amazing, and we've got the time to do some wet sanding. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna polish the car where I can polish it and bring it up. The areas that can't be polished, we're gonna come with a wet sanding, and on the, and on the bonnet, we're gonna do wet sanding with the machine, which is a risky thing. If you get it wrong, you're going straight through, but we're repainting the bonnet anyway. So there's no risk factor there, purely to learn, to see what happens, to see how that comes out. So I think we're gonna kick it first with just a polish, get that paintwork sorted, then we'll come at the wet sanding, and then at the end we'll get the machine polisher on the bonnet and see with the sanding paper. So we'll guess sand with the machine, which is faster, but it's risky. So let's go, let's jump in, man. Let's get it popping. We'll have a quick look around the paintwork now so you guys can see kind of where we're at now, but we'll do some shots and compare them at the end. So you know what it is, we're jumping in. As you can see, it looks like it went through a hedge. Lots of swirls, lots of marks, lots of scratches. So let's jump in. Let's start making this car look the done. So I know a lot of you follow the channel on the flipping cars side of it. So if this was purely a flipping car video series, that this was definitely 100% being fixed up to go to be sold, I'd leave this panel here because it's all that it needs to be. So if you were just selling this car, if somebody came to look at this, just turn the flashlight on. If somebody came to look at this, that's perfect. Like, you don't need to do more than that. I mean, for a 16-year-old car, the customers are going to expect a couple of marks and bits and bobs. So obviously a detailer, to make a car really perfect and close to what George has got here, even a detailer wouldn't be able to get it that good, to be honest. He's polished that thing like fucking 20 times. That's enough. You really don't need to do more. But because I want to chase a bit more of perfection on this, because I might keep it, then you've just got a few, where are they? Here, a few little scratches that I want to carry on with. But in terms of, this is obviously a harder bit because you've got the arch. But in terms of the finish on that, it's enough. I would like to say that we're flying through this, but it's just really not that fast. It takes, I've done about 3 hours and 3 panels, so an hour a panel. And there's still a couple of minor scratches in there. Obviously you can't get out all the scratches sometimes, but if you have a look now, I'm sure that you're gonna be impressed. So next up, it's gonna be the roof. The roof is probably the worst area on this car, to be honest. So I've done that side. I'm not gonna show you doing the other side because that can get a bit boring. So we'll just jump into the roof now and box that off. And then we'll start with the wet sanding on the bonnet, which is the fun part of this video, to be honest. That's the main event. So we're gonna, obviously with the bonnet, I've got a sanding block, sandpaper. So we'll do it on one side with that. Do the other side with the machine and the sanding discs, see if we burnt through the paint. So yeah, that's more of a kind of a play-in with the bonnet. We have to repaint it anyway, as I've said. So we'll just have a little play with that and see what happens. So I'm gonna jump into the roof. Let's do it. Still needs a bit more, but we are definitely on the right track on making that crystal clear. As you can see. Day 2, let's jump in, let's get this fully polished so we can start wet sanding the bonnet. Day 2. No flashing. It's cold in here. Wow. Probably about as good as you are going to get a 16-year-old car to look. It's absolutely pissing it down right now, so we can't take the car outside to have a look at the paint. So in the next video, we'll definitely take it outside so you guys can see how good it looks, because this car is actually black, but obviously when it's all polished up, all the metallics makes it look blue. It's called carbon black. So yeah, let's jump into the bonnet and let's start doing this wet sanding and messing about with that. Basically, this is just kind of see what happens, how you can do it, if you can do it. I've never done it with the machine, so basically I want to play. So let's have a play. So as we already know, the bonnet is absolutely shagged because it was fully scratched. So I'm gonna do the outer edge. I'm gonna polish it. I've already done this side with a little bit of polish just to kind of tidy it up. So I'm just gonna go for the middle bit here and the middle bit there, and we'll just see what happens, how it comes out, what we get. So that's kind of where we're at on this side. It's battered. So yeah, playtime.
get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. I want it one more time.
So,
I really need to make it
it's not too bad. It's actually quite smooth in some of it. So let's have a look. So that's 1500. I knew that obviously that's not going to come out because it's so deep. But some of these might. Obviously now I'm going to come with a 3000 grit the other way. And then we'll do this, polish them both and see what happens.
Get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. Ooh.
So that's 1500 grit and 2500 grit done by hand on the right hand side. Looks pretty flat, looks pretty symmetrical. I'm happy. We'll see what happens with that. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side, but using the machine. Obviously much faster, sanding discs, but obviously you can chew through stuff like a MF, AF, all those slang. So let's just jump in and see if we've gone through the paint.
Get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. And everywhere you get me, started off fine, now
So there it is, nice and smooth, flat. Obviously you've still got the deep scratches, but you can see in a lot of the areas the scratch has gone. So if you've got a small scratch that can be taken out, definitely worth it. This is the machine side. Again, really smooth. They're both super smooth. So now we're going to hit it with a polish. So after the first pass, still really hazy, but in terms of clearness, the hand side is obviously slightly clearer under the light than the machine. So maybe the machine will take a little bit more to bring back up, because obviously it was doing a lot more cutting, but we'll see. Straight back to it. So there we go, guys. I'm going to end that video there. Basically, the easier one to sand was the machine polished side. Quick look. Not perfect, but it definitely took out in areas like here, here, there, and there. Obviously, this loops around like that all the way up. So in certain areas, it's took out that. But if you look here, you can still see some sand in there, and that square there as well. So it really is a lot of work to kind of bring that back. The bonnet needed respraying anyway, so It's £150 to respray the bonnet, and it will just look brand new. So yeah, I'd rather just paint than wet sand, to be honest. Just not worth it. In terms of the rest of the car, obviously it looks absolutely amazing. I'll finish the rest of the car, and in the next video I'll show you how the cars all turned out. The video after this, we're going to do the interior, so we'll get that sorted, finish the MOT, and we'll do our first drive. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.